Hello, and welcome back to Rationing Recipes with Remy the Rat. Today, I will be showing you some World War era recipes that came about because of rationing. Rationing during the World War caused people to need to get creative with with meals that they would make. They had shortages on things like meat, fats, sugars, and even coffee. People found replacements for these foods in non-ration foods like fruit, veggies, milk, and eggs. Fun fact, the rationing on fats actually came about as a need for glycerin, which is used in bombs. Glycerin could be found in fats like bacon. That's right, bacon bombs. People actually started replacing things like sugar with fruits, which actually brings us to our first recipe for breakfast.
Oats were very common for breakfast during the Second World War, two forms of which were oatmeal and Cheerios. Fun fact, Cheerios were invented just 7 months before America's entry into World War II. Like I said before, people did still have ways to sweeten things like oatmeal without using their precious sugar. They could add fruits like blueberries or even honey to spice up their food. These two ingredients were not heavily rationed, making them great sugar substitutes. Following the instructions on my box, I added my desired amount of water to a half cup of oatmeal. Then I added blueberries and honey, and that's it. A super simple and affordable breakfast. Now, with any good breakfast, you're gonna want something to drink. Instant coffee was invented during the Great Depression. However, it wasn't until Nestle started providing it in American field rations, the ones given to the troops, that it really took off. After the war, these soldiers came home, bringing their desire for instant coffee with them, popularizing it in America.
Spam, America's favorite gelatinous cubed meat. Now, spam was invented during the Great Depression, but it was still eaten during the World War because it's a great source of protein. And mixed with another food that was invented during the Great Depression and eaten during the World War, mac and cheese, it actually makes for a very good high protein, high calorie, and cheap combo meal. Disgusting. Now, while spam might not taste very good on its own, when cooked, it does taste pretty good. It tastes a lot like bacon. As I said before, we're gonna be making spam and mac and cheese.
Start by frying chunks of spam until they develop a little color. I'm not going to explain how to make the mac and cheese. I mean, come on, it's mac and cheese, guys. It's not that hard. Then just mix your spam and mac and cheese together and voila, you have an easy and cheap way to incorporate protein into your World War II diet.
Protein was one of the most heavily rationed foods during the Second World War. Ground beef was on the rise, and people found that they could add things like bread to increase the volume, how filling it was, without having to buy more meat. So they added bread from a loaf to meat. Meatloaf. This recipe, which I got from my grandfather, actually suggests that you use stale bread, so you're not having to waste that old bread. This was a reasonably cheap, filling, and nutritious meal that provided protein that many were missing during the Second World War.
Start by removing the crusts from 3 slices of bread. Then cut your bread into half-inch cubes. Place your cubes into a large bowl and soak with enough milk to make it soggy. Milk was surprisingly inexpensive during the Second World War, making it a great option to add nutritional value to your food. Next, add to your bowl 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 egg, 3 cloves of finely minced garlic, 1 small finely chopped white onion, and 2 tablespoons of mustard. Along with this, you'll add your spice mix consisting of a 1/4 teaspoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, dried thyme, and half a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. Fun fact, many American women started victory gardens in their yards. They would grow many of the ingredients found in this recipe, such as the onion and garlic. This was all an effort to reduce the amount of resources like gasoline, rubber, or even ships needed to bring in and transport food domestically. These could instead be sent to aid the war effort. Transfer your mixed meat to a baking tray lined with crinkled foil. Form into the shape of a loaf and smooth out any large cracks. These cracks may expand while baking, so make sure you get them all or your meatloaf may look ugly. Loosely top with foil. Forget to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, then bake for 35 minutes. Remove the top foil and continue cooking for 30 more minutes. Let rest, slice, and enjoy.
Sugar was one of the most rationed foods during the Second World War, and as I said before, many turned to fruits to make up for the lack of sugar. Some recipes like the apple crumble use sugar and fruits. Many families would save their sugar for special events like holidays and pool it with other families so they could afford to make these sweet treats for special days. Crumbles were actually more common than pies during the Second World War because they were less resource intensive. Rather than having to make an entire crust around the whole dessert, they could just make the crumble on top, which used less flour and less fat. Because as I said before, fat was very expensive. They would also, as I've said many times, replace sugar with fruit. Speaking of sugar, M&Ms. M&Ms were invented during the World War because soldiers needed a way to eat chocolate that wouldn't melt. Hence, the sugar-coated M&M.
Start by peeling 8 apples and 1 middle finger. Next, cut your apples into thin slices. Transfer your apple slices to a saucepan along with a 1/3 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and as much cinnamon as you want. Simmer on low heat while mixing until the sugar and water become syrupy and coat the apples. It should look something like this when you're done. Now transfer your apples into a greased cooking dish. In a separate bowl, mix together 1 cup of whole wheat flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and a pinch of salt. Next, you will need to incorporate half a stick of butter with your fingertips until a breadcrumb consistency is achieved. Once your crumble looks like this, pour over the top of your apples. Smooth out your top, then place in an oven set to 400 degrees for about 30 minutes. Once done, let cool, slice, and enjoy.
The Second World War changed the way we as Americans look at cooking as a whole. It caused people to find creative new ways to stretch their limited food, and in the process, aided the war effort. Through things like making more crumbles and less pies so that more bombs could be made, to growing food in our own backyards so that more supplies could be brought to the fronts. This new age of cookery brought Americans at home together against a common enemy and gave the average non-soldier a way to fight back against the Axis powers. These adaptations helped to win the war, shaping the future of American society.